Hello everyone, I'm Jessica and I'm joining you this evening for another live so that you guys can ask questions and get updates and find out what's going on in the group. We currently have a Tunisian rectangle shawl cowl that has started. It's in the events. If you go to the top of the page, there are little tabs underneath the flyer that has the group picture, and there is events and announcements, and in the albums is all of our training videos, so feel free to hop under there for the training videos as well. We will be uploading some new videos here shortly, I hope. I'm trying to do the best I can with the weather we have going on. Hi, Gloria. It's been raining and dreary, and when it's like that, I don't really feel like doing too much because it messes with my allergies. But we should be getting some new videos up here pretty soon. We do have a flyer under one of the videos that says like video suggestions. Hi, Debbie. That says video suggestions. We also will be naming our shawl. So what we're going to do is there's going to be a post this week, and what it's going to have is a picture of the shawl, not finished, but as we're working on it. And for those of you that have completed your practice piece, you kind of have an idea the texture that the shawl is going to have. Hi, Amy. Hi, Erica. So from that, we're going to post a picture of the shawl and do a game where y'all post what you think that it should be called, and then if you like what somebody called it, then you can go in and like it, and the ones with the most likes will be put into another poll from there, and whatever one gets picked, that person that picks the name will receive something from our group. So we're excited about that. Some of our new members have been in need, so some of our Secret Santas came forward and donated hooks, and another member paid it forward and is sending out hooks that are going to be given as part of our giveaway. So I'm super excited about that too. So we are going to have a giveaway of hooks. We are going to have a giveaway of yarn. We are going to have a giveaway for the naming the shawl. So we have a lot going on here lately. Hi, Vicki. So, hi, Rita. Does anybody have any questions so far about the shawl that we're working on, about the stitches? Is anybody having problems? I know that a lot of members I've helped through Messenger and did some little videos and sent them in, and everybody's been following along with that really well. People's practice pieces are coming out fantastic, so they're ready to start the shawl. And another thing, somebody messaged me about the shawl that they can't get their yarn right now, that it's going to be like a month or two. And I told them, and I'm telling you guys again, don't panic. This is going to be up for a while. We know that life happens, and that's why we leave the events up for so long. And so this is just an event that's going to be left up for a long time as well. So some people did tell me the knit stitch on this shawl is a pinch shorter than the rest of the stitches. So if your side is puckering or a little bit longer or flaring out a little bit, do not worry about that. We are going to be blocking this. I am going to have a video that is going to discuss 2 different ways to block this, and you are not going to have to worry about using an iron, melting fabric. None of that's going to be involved. This is going to be super, super easy. Hi, Kathy. This is going to be super, super easy. So we are doing this, and this is your shawl. It is going to be about 28 inches wide, so when you put it on, it's going to go on this way. And this hangs way down into my lap, which is good. I wanted that. I wanted something that was going to be longer because up here it gets chilly, and I wanted something that if I kind of bunch it up around my neck a little bit, I still had my back covered. So that is why we made this as wide as we did. And because, you know, I love the one-size-fits-all stuff, but I know that one size fits all does not fit everybody. It just does not. And it's upsetting to get something and think, oh, one size fits all, I made this, and nope, not going to fit. So, you know, I completely get it. So I wanted something that was going to be a little bit bigger, that was going to have a little more uses and ability to wear it. So, not only can you wear this thing as a shawl, there's, you know, you could use this as a neck wrap, you could do whatever you want with it. One of the ladies said she's making this with cotton, and she is going to put a buttonhole in it and use it as a beach wrap, because she wanted something that is going to cover her completely when she gets out of the water, that can get wet and is not see-through, because as many of us, she is getting older, and bikinis just aren't the thing right now for us older ladies that are out of shape. So I think that's a fantastic idea. I think as a beach wrap, this would be really cute. Especially, like I said, with it being 28 inches, you can pretty much go underarm to underarm, and it will be fantastic. But it all depends on what you guys want to do with it. You guys can do whatever you want with them. They're yours. I think that any ideas you have and creativity, all aboard, bring them in. I have seen everybody's practice pieces coming out, and they are absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of new members that are doing the practice piece, and I'm absolutely loving it. Tiffany has been one that's been working on it very hard, and Norma, she's done a fantastic job. She just did her practice post and put it up really quick, so she's learning very quickly, and she's doing a fantastic job. So in April, she just got new hooks in because her husband bought them for her birthday. So, you know, some of us have the best husbands ever. Do we have any questions? Is everybody doing okay with the shawl? And while we're talking, please don't hesitate to pop in here and ask something, because I will see it and I will get it answered. We did have a question about pricing. Now, for pricing Graphghans, and shawls, I have found, especially for Graphghans, you know, there's so many things about pricing what you make. And, you know, people are like 3 times the cost of yarn. If I buy yarn and it's on sale, then I can offer you a much cheaper price if I do 3 times the cost of yarn, which undercuts everybody else that's trying to sell it. If I do it by hourly wage, I may think my hourly wage is reasonable, but somebody else may think that their hourly wage is good, and it may be cheaper, but the quality of my work may be cheaper than the person that's charging less. So, you know, those factors change. So I really don't like to use that for charging for Graphghans. I find for Graphghans that the most, and most people understand this, gauge is something that is pretty standard across the board. So if you are using an H hook and you are using worsted weight yarn and you're using corner to corner, the blanket corner to corner. Blanket corner corner is originally what the corner to corner was called back in the 70s when this thing was in a book. And since then my book has gotten flooded. I lost it in a flood, so I'm very sad and I cannot find it anywhere, and I cannot remember the name of it. But blanket corner to corner in the 70s was the corner to corner stitch, and it recommended using a hook 2 sizes smaller than what's used for your on your crochet label, because what happens is people get gaps, and when you get gaps, that's why people are like, oh, I chain 5 and do 3, or I do whatever. You do that because you're using a different hook than what's recommended for the pattern. Corner to corner was designed the opposite of Tunisian. Tunisian, you use a hook at least 2 sizes bigger than what's recommended on the yarn label. For corner to corner, you use a hook that is 2 sizes smaller. So, as far as corner to corner, and I know this may get a little bit of feedback, but this is my opinion, and you guys are welcome to give me feedback. Hi, Lisa. For corner to corner, since the clusters, it gives a more pixelated graph. It's not as detailed. So something that's 80 by 80 pixels as a graph will be 60 inches if you use corner to corner, the blanket corner to corner, because you get 3/4 inch clusters. Now, if you do mini corner to corner, you get 1/2 inch clusters. So, hi Norma, I was just talking about you and what a wonderful job you're doing on your practice piece. So with the clusters, they work up much faster. I can sit down, and I know a lot of other people can sit down, and in a week and a half, 2 weeks, you can do a 60-inch corner to corner blanket. So for those, I multiply inches wide by inches tall, and then I multiply that times 5 cents. So if I do a 60-inch throw in corner to corner, 60 times 60 is like 36,000, and then you multiply that times the 5 cents, it works out to be $180, which $180 is more money than the yarn and everything else. I do charge up for patterns that are bobbin heavy, and I do charge up for patterns if I have to buy the pattern. As far as the Tunisian and single crochet Graphghans, I do not charge that way. And I also find 3 times the cost of yarn and everything else does not work out that way. The best way that I've found to charge for your Graphghans that's effective and that people can understand, because people understand going to work and what they make in a week. A single crochet or a Tunisian Graphghan take approximately the same amount of time. Now, when you use a 60 by 60 inch pattern, your stitch count, hi Kim, your stitch count is usually 240 by 240, because most people get about 4 stitches to an inch and about 4 rows with the J hook in Tunisian and the H hook in single crochet. Now, for something that is throw size, I charge $1.25 a row for throw and twin. For full and queen, I charge $1.50 a row. For king, I charge $1.75 a row, and for California king, I charge $2 a row times 200, however many rows you're going to have. I do find that yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but people also understand there are more stitches that goes into it. It takes about a half an hour to do a row. With that being said, 10 rows takes 5 hours. And it's easy to explain to people, hey, this blanket has 240 rows, and at 240 rows, that means I've spent 120 hours working on this. I don't know many people that want to work a 40-hour work week for 3 weeks and only spend $400 for a blanket. And that's what I, just about what I charge, and that's about what you would get paid. So a lot of people are like, no, I would not want to work for 3 weeks and only make $400. So that's why they can understand it easier, because you can explain the work week, the amount of stitches and the amount of time that goes into it, and it's pretty standard. So if I make a 60-inch throw Graphghan and you have the same pattern, you're doing exactly the same amount of stitches. Yes, your time may be a little bit different, but we're not charging based on time. I do charge more if something is bobbin heavy. There have been projects that I have had over 120 bobbins a row. For those, like stars or letters or phrases, if you have phrases, I charge $1 extra a letter. If I have stars, I charge $1 extra a star. So one of the Graphghans I made had the 50 stars, and it had like, I don't know, 50 letters, so I ended up upcharging $100. So I don't think that was bad. Erica said, members' questions this week: when using 2 hooks, which one do you prefer to be bigger, forward, pass, or return? Only have 1 hook of each size. If you're doing a pattern that is the double-ended and you have 1 hook of each size, this is even standard with knitting. You use a bigger hook to cast on and a smaller hook to cast off. Hi, Terry. Hi, Lisa. Lynn says, can't see or hear you. Can everybody else see or hear me? Oh, my phone. Can everybody else see or hear me? Lynn, try refreshing. So that explains the hooks. Hi, Sissy. It is pretty standard for you to go up in Tunisian 2 hook sizes. Now, 2 hook sizes, this has been controversial, and I've seen this in a lot of groups. So people are like, hey, if it calls for a 6mm hook, an 8mm hook is 2 sizes bigger. No. A 6mm hook, there is a 6.5 and a 7mm hook. So you're using the half sizes as well. Now I know a lot of people do not have a 7mm hook. Yes, you can order them. Chris Benson, why do people use 2 size hooks? For Tunisian in the round, what happens is you have a hook on each end and a cable in the center. Now you can do this as well without the cable with a double-ended hook. You just can't cast on as many stitches. So if you have only 1 set of hooks, like the Knitter's Pride Tunisian Dream set only comes with 1 hook of each size. So if you wanted to do something that was in the round, or something that you were turning, and you only have that 1 set of hooks, it is recommended to use the size that is 2 sizes bigger. So instead of using the H that your yarn called for, you would use the J, and then to cast off, you could use the I, which is a 5.5mm. Hi, Andrea. I'm so excited about the starry cakes. I can't wait to get mine in. And to see the new colors and the new green. It's like an addiction. So, Chris, that's the short answer of why you would use 2 different size hooks. Now, you can get Tunisian hooks that do have 2 of the same size hooks. And you can also get hooks that you can also buy a double set. A lot of times buying 2 sets of the Knitter's Pride hooks is actually cheaper than buying a lot of other sets that have the 2 sets in them. Denise Delacue does have 2 halves. There we go. Everybody at my house is on the internet. So, that is going on. And like I said, most sets only have the one size. Let me reach forward here. And Andrea, since you're here, let me see if I can... That's the shawl that I'm working on. Look, it sparkles. No, this isn't Tunisian, but it's Ria's yarn, and it's fantastic. So, I'm excited about that. So, yes, I will be posting that in your group here pretty soon. Melissa said that's gorgeous. I'm loving how it's coming out. I actually got to the first color change, and then I had to frog some of it, so I was like, ah! But I've had plenty of time to word it. Andrea said I need to get that pattern loaded up. You'll get there. There's so much going on, especially with littles home. Littles under your feet tend to substantially diminish what you can normally get done without littles home. Norma said that's beautiful. Thank you. So, for the shawl, it is in our event for the one we're working on right now. There will be another one uploaded here as soon as this one's done. And Brooke said, so how can I not get my projects to curl? Alright, Brooke, this is an example here. This border that we're incorporating is a non-curling border. So if you are using a hook that is at least 2 sizes bigger, and that's what I was talking about earlier. So if your yarn calls for an H hook, instead of using the H, which is 5mm, and the I is 5.5, and then we have 6mm, you want to be using at least a 6mm hook. 6mm is super popular here. There is a honeycomb border, and for the life of me, I do not have a project sitting by me that has that. But I can post one when we're done. Andrea said, sneaking out again, it's late over here. Get some rest. I know that you need it. You've been baking cakes all day. So, Brooke, if you look at the honeycomb video that we have, that is one of the most popular, stitches for a non-curling border. Also, the border that we're using now for this is non-curling. Mine has curled up a pinch at the bottom, and it's because the way that I have had it thrown in a whip bag, I usually don't do that. We will also be doing a blocking of this scarf when we're done, so it will not curl at all. But you're not gonna, most people's are not curling. They're a little bit wavy because the difference in the stitches, which is why we're going to be blocking, but most of these do not curl. If you mix 2 stitches together, a lot of times, then it will cause you not to curl. Like I said, mine is only curling because of how I've had it tossed in a thing, but if you look at it now, see how it's straight. So, use a hook at least 2 sizes bigger, and we have several different stitches you can use for a border. One is a purl stitch. You can use that for a border, and that will not curl. We usually incorporate 10 rows and 10 stitches on each side. So originally when you chain, you're going to chain an extra 20, so that'll give you 10 stitches on each side. The border that we're using here for the practice swatch that's at the top of our group, there's a post and then there's comments. In the comments, it talks about the border. That is a good one to use. The reverse stitch is a good one to use. I like it, but I think it's, for me, it's kind of a pain in the butt to make the reverse stitch, so I stay away from that one. But it is a good stitch. What else? The rib stitch is good. You can do a row of Tunisian simple stitch, a row of purl, a row of Tunisian stitch, and it will give you a rib stitch across. There's a couple other ones, but that should help you. Chris said, I just happened to come across this. You're wonderful. I love doing this. I started a teaching group because there was not a lot of information out there. The information out there was coming across from YouTube, and so many YouTubers are just filming what other YouTubers have filmed. And, you know, I've talked to a couple designers as well, and they're like, well, you know, I came up with this design, but everybody knows this stitch as whatever the YouTubers are calling it, and it's a shame because, you know, for those of us that have learned from books from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and, well, 2000s now, you kind of learned the name of the stitch, and now people are changing them out and calling things stitches that are not what they're called if you refer to a book. So, and, you know, the color changing method and everything we teach here is different. I like to run the cows because it keeps people busy and it teaches new things, and I like to expand your Tunisian knowledge. I actually am hoping that I can get with the Yarn Council and do their conference this year, but we'll see, since things are up in the air with the nation right now, because I don't know if money can get refunded once you put it out there. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see what else is going on. There is a post going on. A lot of people ask about the yarn behind me, and Andrea was just in here. Andrea makes the cakes that are all down there. So we will be doing a cow, a Tunisian crochet along with one of her cakes here after we finish this shawl. And please, 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 you guys do not need to rush to get this done. This one that we're doing right now, like all of the other events, will be up in the group for a while. Don't think, oh my gosh, I got to get in this and I only got 8 weeks to do it, and that means I got to do 30 rows a week. And no, we don't do it that way. We keep things like they are. Rita says you got me hooked on them. I've seen you in there. So, do we have any other questions right now? Is there anything you guys want to know? I know pricing was one of the big things that we were talking about. Also, hooks. There is a huge debate about hooks. Back in the early 2000s, when the hooks come out, they were the standard Afghan hooks that were only about 10 to 14 inches long. Later on, people got, hi Tiffany, later on, people got into doing the hooks and making their own at home. Now, the Federal Trade Commission and all of this, there are guidelines for anything that you make and sell, whether you're making perfumes, you're making soaps, you're making salve for your face. It doesn't matter what you make. There are guidelines. You cannot advertise things as won't cause carpal tunnel or will help with that, unless you have like doctor's stuff to back you up. You have to have documentation, and it has to be tested, and you have to go through all of this to make a medical claim. That's why a lot of these places stopped making them, because it opened themselves up to possible lawsuits. So I know that there are a few sets that are very popular that people got, and they are no longer in production, so they ordered a bunch of them, and the sizes weren't standard and all this other stuff. We do not recommend them in the group. I am not saying that these are bad hooks. I am saying that they came out years later with cabled hooks for a reason, and the reason is it takes the weight off of your wrist. They help with things better than cramming stitches on a hook. Now, I know this is probably going to cause a lot of controversy, but ultimately, I'm not making medical claims. This is exactly why people have, you know, over the years, knitting has evolved to include a cable because it's just easier. And I have had ganglion cysts in my wrist and had to go in and have them fixed, and the doctor's like, it's from repetitive motion and weight, and don't do that. So that is another reason why I use the cabled hooks, because it takes some of the tension off of your project. I do not recommend cramming stitches on a hook. Yes, we had to do that 30 years ago. We do not have to do that now. Please don't put yourself through that. That is why people's hands hurts. Also, their hands hurt because they are not using a hook that's large enough. Please, Tunisian has a standard to use a hook at least 2 sizes bigger, and by 2 sizes, I mean that includes the half size. So if it asks for a 5mm hook, 5.5, 6mm. Chris says, I am going to try to do a Graphghan in Tunisian. Might need help with the color changes. It looks like I am going to have 70 bobbins. I have been there. I actually had my husband create a bobbin stand for me that the bobbins spin, and it's got casters, and on the bottom shelf sets a under the bed plastic bin that I put all my stuff in, and it keeps the cat and the kids out of it, and I could just push it behind the couch if I have it down in the kitchen. And with the casters, I can actually take it out and work on the front porch because I can just push it out there. Boop! Outside I crochet. So, Chris, we're always here if you need help, so don't hesitate to ask. Kim says she's got me hooked too. Brooke says I'm asking about those. Yes, the hooks that we usually recommend here have a cable on them. There are larger hooks that have, a lot of people, a lot of the cheap hooks, let me get my drawer open here. Get one out. You can buy these on Wish. They come with a hook and a cable that's like forever long. These, the cable will pop off and they stink like plastic. And the wooden ones, they catch on your yarn. You get what you pay for. And I hate to say that, but that is exactly what you get. Chiagu makes a great set that comes with the spin cables, and they're called T-Spin. They come in a fancy case, and the cables screw on, and that is a nice set. The Knitter's Pride set is what I usually recommend here, because the Knitter's Pride set comes with cables that you can do absolutely anything with. The longest cable that comes with the set, that you don't have to order separately, is 40 inches. So with that being said, the 40-inch cable, you only need a cable that is between 1/3 and 1/2 of the width of your project. So don't think, oh my gosh, I'm doing a 60-inch Graphghan, or I'm doing a 90-inch Graphghan, where am I going to get a 90-inch cable? You don't need that. The idea of the cable is just to hold the stitches on while you're making it, and the cable kind of lays, and the project lays in your lap. So there's not a lot of tension on it, and the cable takes that tension. So, this is the Delaque set. Denise makes it, and there are 2 hooks in each slot. These are good for crocheting in the round. These do not come with long cables, so with this set, I had to order longer cables separately. And that is with all of the Denise sets, and that's just the way it is. With the T-Spin, it's the same way. The cables are not long enough to do a Graphghan, but you can order longer cables. The other set of hooks that is popular is the Addy Click. Now, Addy Click show a cable in here. It does not come with a cable, and it does not come with stoppers. So, you have to order your cables separately. And your stoppers. So between the cables, the stoppers, and the hooks, you're looking at about $90. That's about as cheap as I've found them. The Knitter's Pride set, you can find them anywhere from about 37 bucks to about 50 bucks. It just depends. And they do not come with a case, but there is a beautiful case on Amazon that holds 2 sets of hooks and has little things in it for your hooks, and that's actually what I have mine in. It kind of looks like this, but mine is red, and it has little slots, but it is not this boy case. What else? There is... Furl has recently released hooks that are Tunisian hooks. A few people have had problems because they have a metal connection here, and that metal connection is catching on the yarn and they're coming apart. Now, Furl does offer a replacement of your hook, so that is good. And also, if you want to get more expensive because you really like your Knitter's Pride set, but you want a case and you want to upgrade because you've had your set forever, then they have the Knitter's Pride Ginger set. The Ginger set comes with this, it holds your pattern. It's got a little magnet thing on it. It holds all of your hooks. It comes with a pen. What else does it come with? It comes with this little pocket so that you can put stuff in it. It comes with stitch markers, but they're knitting stitch markers, so they don't open up, so I don't quite understand that, but maybe I'm missing something. It comes with the cables and all of the stoppers you're going to need, and it comes with EFG 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter hook, HIJKLMN, and 12 millimeter hooks. So this is great. It comes with a 24 inch, a 32 inch cord, and 2 40-inch cords. It comes with 8 end caps, 4 cord keys, a set of cord connectors so that you can connect 2 sets together, and magnets for the pattern holder, and the 20 stitch markers. Like I said, I don't quite get because they're joined, so, and it comes with a pen. So this is a fantastic set. It is a little pricey. They're like $130, I think. So, you know, unfortunately, I've had a lot of people that go, well, you know, I'm going to get the ones off of Wish because they're only like $20. And then when they get them, they hate them and they've got to sand them down. They got to do all this work and then their cables fall off. And if they would have just waited another month and put another $20 away, they could have had the Knitter's Pride set. Or one of the other sets. So, hey Shonda. Lisa, how do you decrease the Tunisian half double crochet? When you, there's several ways to decrease. For me, it depends on if it's in the center of my project or the outside of my project. A lot of times, when you have all your stitches cast on, if you pull through 2 in the beginning, instead of you yarn over and pull through 1, you pull through 2, that will decrease on your cast off side. If you need to decrease on the beginning and you pull through 3, then that will decrease by 2. It will crochet 2 together and that works a decrease. Or you could skip a stitch, which some patterns call for. Other patterns call for you to pick up the 2 stitches in one swoop, yarn over, and then have just the 1 loop because you've crocheted the 2 together. So I hope that helps, Lisa. Norma, what book do you recommend for a beginner? I would love to learn reading and making a pattern from a book. Hold on. I absolutely love these for beginners. This is backwards, but it's Tunisian Crochet Basics and Texture Stitches, Volume 1. Then they have Tunisian Crochet Colored and Striped Stitches, Volume 2. And they have Tunisian Crochet Colorful Pattern Mix, Volume 3. There's probably a good 150 stitches in these books, and I absolutely love these. There's a couple other books that I like, and I don't have them right next to me. I did like this one. It has a sampler blanket in it. It's called Tunisian Crochet from Absolute Beginner to Advanced. Sharon Silverman has one that has, this is Delicate Crochet. This has some patterns in it that they're regular crochet, but they have some Tunisian shawls in here that I absolutely really liked. This one is nice. It is called Great Tunisian Crochet Projects. There's 20 easy patterns in here. This has 50 Tunisian stitches in it. And I actually really, really like this. This was actually my first book. And then they have a Tunisian lace book that I really like too. This actually comes with a interactive DVD. This one is great for starting out. There's a dozen Tunisian dishcloths, and they all have different patterns. I have this one. This one is nice. It has a few projects in it that are easy to work up. This one has, this book is heavy. There's a lot of stuff in here, and it is called The New Tunisian Crochet Contemporary Designs, The Honored Traditions. I do like this one. It has a lot of different things in it to try, and it's vast. You don't just stay to like things you make at home. There's clothing and stuff. There's Fair Al Tunisian. Tunisian Crochet for Baby is nice if you have little ones on the way, and it gets you some experience in some things. There's the Tunisian Crochet Workshop book. This one is nice. I kind of expected it to have a little more patterns in it than it did. Unexpected Afghans. I do like this one. It does have some Tunisian patterns in them, but not all of these are Tunisian. And get hooked on Tunisian Crochet. There's 13 projects in here, and I really am liking this one. I actually have done the shawl on the front, and it works up super easy, and it explains a lot. And then they have Learn Tunisian Crochet. A lot of people can find this at Walmart. So there are a ton of Tunisian books out that are good. I actually have another one on the way, and I will be letting you guys know what I think about it. It is newer. It was just released not that long ago. Whew, hard to see that. Angela said, I love the bobbin stand I made modeled after yours, Jessica. Yes, Angela made one, and it is, her husband did it. He did a fantastic job. It is great. Norma said, do you teach how to make graph patterns? We discuss in here heavily on what to look for in your patterns. I am so many different, there's like 3 or 4 different programs that you can make graphs in. We do show what to look for in a graph pattern and what to fix, Norma, and actually we are going to have a video on that. I was hoping to have it out around April 15th, April 20th, but it's going to talk about what to look for and what to fix and your gauge, and it's going to talk about all that. So actually it's going to go into detail about that. I know a lot of people think that, you know, you just upload a picture into a design program and you're done. No, you have to go in and fix every pixel and fix how many colors are in it, and there's a lot of work that goes into Graphghans, and people don't understand when you design one. You usually sit for at least, you know, 4 hours minimum and go in and fix stuff. I actually created a pattern on Stitch Fiddle that I am going to be using as an example in the group here, and I am going to put a link in this group for the pattern. Since it was released on Stitch Fiddle, anybody could go in and look at it, and you just can't manipulate it, but you can use whatever colors you want. I did it so that it was easy. It's only like 5 or 6 colors. And I will be talking about that and actually have that printed out when I do the video as well for the making a Graphghan pattern. Lynn said, is there a video for changing colors on Afghans? Yes. YouTube has a very popular one. I do not do color changes that way, and the reason why is because when you do color changes and you follow the YouTube video, I do recommend learning the YouTube video way. This is not one of them groups where, oh my gosh, it's my way or no way. I started this group because so many people seen what I was making and saying, I have made Tunisian Graphghans and they get this rigid bump on the back because what happens when you go into a stitch to do the color change, you make your last stitch in black and you're changing to white. When you go in, you have to twist your bobbin on the forward pass and then twist your bobbin on the return pass. And I absolutely hated that because when you have 100 and some bobbins a row or 60 bobbins and you're flipping them back and forth, it really limits how you can work with bobbins. And my bobbin stand has bobbins on a stand and they spin. So I really wanted a way that you didn't do that and it didn't cause the ridge around the back and it didn't have that dotted line effect, and I'll show a picture in the group, but the back is much cleaner this way. So I do recommend, there's a video on YouTube that says like color changing in Tunisian, and it's got a penguin, I believe. I do like that method. It is clean, but this way that we teach in here is kind of like after you've mastered that by doing a practice piece, come in and learn our way and see which way you like better, because the back, it's more reversible. With Tunisian, yes, the back of it looks purled, so it's not going to look exactly the same as a front, but it's less messy with the color changes here. All of our videos, again, are in our albums. If you go to the top of the group, there's tabs that say like announcements and files and stuff. The announcements, the albums, there's a whole different set of albums. One just opens up videos if you are on an iPad or whatever. The other ones have the name with them. We have right-handed, we have left-handed, and we have closed caption because we do have hearing impaired here. So I hope that helps, Lynn. Erica said she'll tag you in the post. I'm trying to catch up here as fast as I can, Tiffany. Jessica, when you get a chance, can you let me know exactly what cables I need or should get for the hooks I get on Thursday? My goal is to make Graphghans, and if I need the stoppers too, or anything else. Thank you. This is the set, the Denise set. There is just one link, and Erica could probably get it for you. But it offers a 24-inch cord, a 30-inch cord, a 40-inch cord, and a 52-inch cord. This is all one package. And ultimately, your set that you got should come with, like, I think 4 stoppers. So I don't think you're going to need extra stoppers. I mean, you may later on down the road, or if you choose to, you know, you may choose to pick some up. But this set that I got is the extra long ones, because there's 24, 30, 40, and 52, and it comes all in one package. Because the set that came with my set, are 5-inch, 9-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch, 16-inch, and 19-inch. The 19-inch will be, actually the 14, 16, and 19-inch will be perfect for the shawl that we're doing. So you have plenty of time for the other ones to come in. But yeah, Erica can maybe post a link to those. They're all, they're sold as one set instead of buying them individually. They were a little more expensive that way. Kim says, I love the Knitter's Pride set and would recommend them, especially for beginners. Yes, I do love them for beginners. All my students, because I teach locally as well, I take my hooks and they get to try them all out. The difference between the Denise set and the Knitter's Pride set is the Knitter's Pride is tapered and the Denise set is more inline. The Denise hooks are also much shorter. They're only like 4.5 inches long, so it takes a little bit to get used to them. Some people have, so they got another set, and that's how we get a lot of our sets in. A lot of our members send them out or contact me and ask, do we have somebody that wants hooks or needs hooks? So that's one of the reasons I absolutely love this group, is everybody comes together as a family. Erica said the book link is posted above. Thanks, Erica. Pretty long, but we'll look it up. Hi, Mary. Boy, am I behind. Do they have a book only on Graphghans? There is a book that was available on Amazon or Kindle. I did download it. I really didn't find it as helpful, which is another reason why I started the group. We do have in our files, Chris, we have a sizing chart that'll tell you what size hook and what size graph is going to give you what. There's also another chart that I will be adding pretty soon as well. That's going to be an update to that. And incorporating your border, we teach that here as well, which is, most of us do the honeycomb border, and I will show a picture of that when I'm done. But it's 10 stitches on each side and 10 rows on the top and the bottom, and that will keep your project completely from curling. You won't have curling except for what rows you're working on. They will always curl a little bit, but the rest of your project will lay flat. Erica said, yes, there is a lot of work. Tiffany said it takes hours to clean them up no matter what pattern you're using if you're designing yourself. Yes, it does. Hi, Donna. Hi, Melinda. She said, better late than never. Thank you for posting the Denise cables, Erica. Your hooks should be in tomorrow. You can check the tracking information on the hooks with the little screenshot I sent you. Norma said, I enjoyed learning the stitches from your video. Thank you. You are doing absolutely fantastic, Norma. You're whipping up and learning new stitches and doing stuff, and it's fantastic. You're doing a fantastic job. I think you're a natural at Tunisian. Hi, Penny. Hi, Mary. I think I'm caught up. Um, that's why we have this. I do love that we have the lives because people can pop on, ask questions, so you can watch it later if you're not, if you're working or whatever, you can watch it later. And, a lot of times too, people will ask in advance through Messenger or in the group, hey, on Wednesday when you go live, I'm not able to watch, so could you bring up A, B, and C? And then I write them down, Erica and I write them down, and we'll go over that as well. What else? Um, I'm loving seeing all the colors coming together for the practice piece. Yes, I know that there's some new stitches in there that we don't usually use for Graphghans, but I'm super excited. The knit stitch you can use for Graphghans. Your sizing will just be a little bit different. Chris said, do you sell hooks for people? No. We have some secret Santas that come forward for people that are not able to afford hooks for one reason or another. And we help them out, and then later on when they get on their feet and are able to help out, they either send the hooks on to another person or they buy another set and have Amazon ship them straight to that person. Penny said, love your blanket you made the other day. Yes, I've been working on a lot of things lately. But Amazon and Walmart online has the Knitter's Pride Tunisian Dream set. That's the set that I really like. They're about, I think they're about $45, $47. They will go down and up in price. Some people have seen them on Mercari, but the ones that I usually see on Mercari are the Denise set, and you have to order the longer cables if you're going to do a Graphghan, and the hooks I found were a little inconvenient for me because they're only like 5 inches long. So here's an example of the Denise hooks. A Denise hook is only this big. So if you put there's a little thumb grip, and some people love that it's got a thumb grip. So if you put your thumb grip there, hand there, my hand hits where the cable goes, and for me it messes things up because my hands are so small. I wear a size 5 ring, so I'm not that big. Other people that have bigger hands say that, when they have their thumb grip, their hand, this doesn't mess with it, so they like them. So it's personal preference on what you like. I like the Knitter's Pride. Erica loves the Denise set. So it's just up to what you really like. There was another question about the Tunisian knit stitch. Oh my word, my brain just went. The Tunisian knit stitch, I did a rectangle, I did a scarf, excuse me, in Bernat velvet, and a lot of people are really liking that. They really, really want me to release the pattern in here. So what I'm probably going to do is make a post where I show it and ask if everybody's interested, and if people are interested in the pattern, then I will write it up and have it released in here. If not, then I'm not going to, but it's my pattern and I came up with it. But Bernat, the velvet is very thick and the scarf come up super thick, so that is one thing you guys need to know. If you make it, it is super, super heavy. But in Pennsylvania we get really cold weather here, and I like something thick. So, and actually the lady that ordered it wanted something thick as well, because she likes something that she can tuck around her face while she's on the motorcycle, and the air on a motorcycle is much colder when it gets chilly outside, so this is perfect for her. Penny said I got a size of hook G. Yes, G is kind of small. I don't think no, I did use my G. I used my G with thread. Melinda said like upstate New York. Yes, like upstate New York. Yes, I did a black and gray scarf, and quite a few people wanted them. So, and a few people asked for the pattern and then were mad because I said it was Tunisian and they don't Tunisian crochet. So, if it's something that y'all like, I will put a pattern up in here for this fall. I'm not going to do it right now because we have the shawl going on. And then we're going to have another shawl coming up this summer. So there's all kinds of exciting things going on here. And please don't hesitate to give input, guys. If there's something you want to see that we don't have, or you would like to learn, or you would like to make, let us know and we can see what we can do as far as a pattern goes. I know that clothing is kind of something that's a little on the harder side only because so much sizing is involved. So that's one thing that I have not tried to shy away from, but the different sizing is something you really have to have tested. So I haven't done a cowl with that yet. So, is there any more questions this evening? Does everybody understand what's going on here? Is everybody still interested in the cowl that's going on? Have you done your practice piece and like it? Or you did your practice piece and were like, nope, I don't like this. I'm not going to do the shawl. Let me know. I need all the feedback I can get because, you know, that's what keeps the group great, and so that we know what we're doing, or that we're going in the right direction, or we're going in the wrong direction and we need to back up. So, you know, let us know what you think, because, you know, this isn't my group. This is you guys' group, and that's what makes the group move forward and grow and expand, and word of mouth. And, you know, I do appreciate people mentioning the group and, you know, sharing a post on their personal page. Hey, if you like Tunisian crochet, join this group. You know, I do love that. It's important, and, you know, there's only so much sharing that I can do on my page because half of you are my friends. So then you see it and you're like, I'm already a member there. Melinda said, yes, I can't wait for my yarn to come in. I can't wait either. I'm so excited to see what you got. I actually am talking to somebody on Etsy too about hooks, and gonna see what I can do with that. Gretchen said, I did 3 practice pieces and now I'm on row 23 of the shawl. It's so soft, I'm loving it. I do love this DK weight, how it is working up, and it is so much softer than I thought it was going to be. Like, even the skeins of yarn, they're soft, but the shawl is coming out so much softer than I imagined, and having such a beautiful drape. Chris said, I sure will tell my friends about you for sure. I'm so glad I found you. Thank you. That makes me feel so good because, you know, just, it's hard, you know, you all as members know what we do as a family here, and we all come together, and, you know, we have the giveaways, and we're going to be doing more giveaways. We're going to have a hook giveaway here when the shawl is done, and we're going to have a yarn giveaway. And Gloria said, I've made it to row 38. Going to keep going. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Yeah, the pattern is pretty much going to repeat itself for the next 100 rows. It depends on your length that you need it, and all of that is in the event post about how many rows it should be. So I am just marking my shawl at every 50 rows, so that way I know when I'm getting close. Hi Brenda, welcome to our family. Yes, I'm absolutely loving how everybody's shawls are coming out. They're absolutely fantastic. April says, I have a question about the DK yarn. Is it is just Yarn Bee brand, or are there other brands of DK weight? Okay. The Yarn Bee brand is what I designed with and I picked out for the pattern. You do not need to use Yarn Bee. You can actually use other brands. With that being said, if you are going to use another brand, check your hook size. Not all DKs are created with the same hook size. Mine is calling for 4.5 and we're using a 6 millimeter. So you're going to need to kind of play around with that because somebody else just tested a DK weight and they had to use, I think, a 6.5. So if you're going to use a different yarn that's not the Yarn Bee, I would recommend doing up a swatch of probably, you know, even 10, I would do 12. 12 stitches wide and 12 rows high, and do the border stitch that we're using, which is the Tunisian simple stitch, the Tunisian slanted stitch, and that will give you a better idea of your gauge, because not all yarns work up the same, and not everybody's gauge is the same, because some people are yankers, some people are riders, some people are lifters. And there's a video in this group that I talk about that all the time, and we share it in here all the time. So if you need to look it up, just look up, you know, fixing yarn gauge, and it'll pop up for you. Melinda, is it Ria's cake? Actually, I did gauge Ria's cake as well, and the information's in there. I am thinking about doing a Ria's cake shawl, but I wanted something that's going to be worked out from the bottom up. So when I wrap it, I have rows of the same color. Stripes, I should say, of the same color. So that's probably going to be one of the things we do here shortly, but I don't want to give too much away. Melinda. Brenda said, thanks, I've only done a scarf in Tunisian and forget how. Melinda, or Brenda, there are, the videos are at the top of the group. It says albums. And also, right now, we are doing a Tunisian cow that's a scarf. And if you go to the top of the group, the first post, and read the first post, and then go into the comments, all the information's there. This is actually what we're doing now. This is going to be a rectangle shawl. It's going to be worked this way, and I did make it bigger because I wanted something that was going to cover me, and because it does get chilly here, and also something that was going to have a little more coverage for those of us that are bigger or wanted to do something different with it. One of the ladies, like I said, is actually going to do a buttonhole at the end and do a wrap for her bathing suit because she's doing it in cotton. So all of that's here. I will be doing a review on the hooks since there's more sets out, and I now have more sets. Someone was asking about the large hooks because they like working with the Bernat blanket yarn and the super thick It's a fur yarn, and you can get bigger hooks. Now the problem with any of the small hooks, the cheap hooks that you get, and this is why I don't like the Wish hooks, because these hooks with the cable, this cable pops off, and then you've got to pop it back on and glue it back on, and you've wasted your money because they stink, and I've had my set for I don't know how long, and they still smell. As far as larger hooks, sorry, don't want to get you dizzy there. As far as larger hooks go, Chiagu makes cabled hooks. I like the 32-inch hooks, the cables, that's what these are. And yes, they have the tubing. I am not a fan of the tubing, but if you want a large hook, this is what you have to have. Now, with that being said, the tubing is connected with the Chiagu hooks by this. It's almost like a grommet that is attached to the wood. This is not going to come out. I have yanked on this thing and had heavy projects on it, and it is not coming apart. Now, I know these hooks don't look, they look large, but they don't look as large as you would think. This one is a U. It's 25 millimeters. And this one is a Q. It is 15.75 millimeters. So you can get larger hooks. And if you're going to get them, the Chiagu has the best connection that I have found if you want super large hooks. The Knitter's Pride does make an NM and 12 millimeter hooks. I think they make a 15 millimeter too, but I'm not positive because I don't have my hook case up here in the bedroom. So another thing about the Knitter's Pride set, you can take your cables off and just use it as a crochet hook if you wanted to. So that is one of the reasons why I like them as well, because if you decide I hate Tunisian crochet, this is not for me, you still can use them as crochet hooks, and they're a nice length. These, as you see, are longer than the Denise set. When I'm holding it where the thumb grip would be, I still have inches to go. Erica said, holy catfish. Yes, those are big, and I do like them. I'm thinking about getting two more. The S and the R. We'll see. What hook size do you use for Bernat blanket yarn? I really like the Q hook for the Bernat blanket yarn. I do have a P hook. If you want something that's going to be tighter, I found the P hook works the best for me. The Q hook, I got a bit of a gap, and I'm not sure where my project is right now, but I will show it next time. I like the P or the Q hook for the Bernat blanket yarn. The P makes a denser, closer stitch, and the Q has some gaps to it. Although I'm sure if you did the knit stitch with the Q hook, it wouldn't be so holy. You go from one extreme to the other because Rhea's yarn is so thin, and you know, just these couple little strands that are unplied, and then you're using Bernat blanket yarn or the Thick and Quick fur, and it's super, super thick. So who makes the big ones? Chiagu. It's CHIAOGOO. I'd put it in the screen, but I know that it's backwards. But that is the Q. And that's the U. And I have the P. I like them. I needed something big. Because you know, especially with the bigger yarns, a lot of times you need something, you know, 2 sizes to 4 sizes bigger. So it just depends on what you're looking for. So, but I do like these because the grommet that's on them keeps the cable on, where if you buy something cheaper, the cable comes off easily. Do we have any other questions yet? April, has anybody made a hammock? I have not. A friend of mine did, but they made it with the nylon. It's like paracord nylon stuff, and that stuff is thick and it is very hard on your hands. She said that if she was going to do it again, that she would make sure that you wear gloves when you do it, because her hands were almost bloody when I seen them. They were tore up. So she said if she was to do it all over again, once she got her foundation chain and stuff done, that she would recommend wearing a type of glove with it, because the nylon is super hard on your hands. Does anybody have any more questions? April said, oh wow, so maybe macrame would be better. Maybe. I've not done macrame. I just know, like I said, the nylon is kind of hard on your hands. Jerome, what are you currently working on? Erica said 1 hour and 17 mark. We are currently working on a Tunisian cow. That is a shawl. Then, what else are we working on? I am working on a shawl because I don't really announce this too much, because then people come out of the woodwork and ask for things. This group, I love you guys. We give a lot of stuff away, and I love this group for that. And we have so many Secret Santas come forward. Many of you don't know, my grandmother had cancer, and she passed away from metastasized breast cancer. So, at least every other month, that's why I get the cakes that are behind me. At least every other month, I go into where she had her cancer treatment, and they have a Christmas tree, and it is up, and it is called a cancer tree. And every month, they decorate it for each holiday, so it's differently decorated. And what you do is you put you can put a handmade item under there that people can take for free. A lot of people put like small blankets, because people get cold during chemo and stuff like that. And I actually am doing this shawl and another one, and putting the second one that I'm working on under the tree. I usually do at least 6 a year, and attach the washing instructions and a little card that says Jessica's Crochet Web on it, because I think it's great to give back to the community. And that's why I like this group so much too, and having you all here, because so many of you have come forward as Secret Santas and given when other people don't have, and then those people have paid it forward. So I absolutely love that about this group. You guys are going to make me cry. But yeah, So, anyway, I am loving everybody working on the practice piece for the tea cow and loving how all of the pictures are coming out. We will be doing a poll here pretty soon that's going to give a picture so that you guys can post what you think the name should be, and then we're going to let everybody, we're going to shut the comments off, and then everybody can go in and like what name they like the best, and then the top 10, we're going to put those in a poll, and we're going to shut comments off, and then whoever gets the most liked comment is what we're going to actually name this rectangle shawl, and we will be doing a giveaway of yarn for them. Robin said, I joined the little favorites group you told me about the other day for that yarn. I can't figure out how to see what's available for sale. If you're in there's two different groups. She has a business page that's Little Favorites by Rhea, and then there's Little Favorites by Rhea Huge, I think it's Huge Yarn Obsession or something like that. If you're in that one, if you go into the albums, she has all the different cakes, and you can go through and write down, and it's going to be hard. I'm just warning you now, it's going to be hard to go in and write down which ones you want, and then how long and how many plies, and then you can message her on her business page, Little Favorites by Rhea, or you can message her through the club cake page and tell her, hey, I want to join the club cake page, and you know, I am interested in getting these yarns. You know, most of the cakes are like, I want to say about $30 when you know, it just depends on shipping, and the more cakes you buy, the cheaper shipping is. And the club cakes, you don't pay for shipping because club cakes, the shipping's free. She has a cake this month. It's got lavender and stuff in it. That's the club cake for the month. And then there's Tony cakes, which are like a gradient cake. And they're gray, and I want to say cream yellow, but don't quote me on that, because I ended up getting the starry cakes, which are, I'm sure if you've scrolled through, you've seen them. They're very shiny, and there's a post in here about them as well. They're going to have the glitter and everything else in them, so they're going to be shiny like this. Hydrangea is the name for Abel. Yes, that's it. So, you know, go in and go into the past club cakes. If you go into her albums, they're under like Frozen, and you'll see all of them, but they're all listed like that. I've never tried that thin plied yarn before, honestly. I saw those, very pretty. The yarn is not plied, so when you're crocheting with it, it is easy to miss a strand, so that's one thing you got to pay attention of. In order to keep your yarn tight, goodness gracious. Aha, there's what I'm looking for. In order to keep your yarn tight, you can grab seed beads. These are glass, so they're super heavy. I do like these. Or you can grab acrylic beads, as long as they got some weight to them and a bigger hole. You do not need a super big hole because the yarn is super thin. You actually can put it on a sewing needle and pull it through. So that is why I have these. I like the weight, so make sure that you get something that's a little bit heavy. And if you put that on, so you get your yarn and you cut the little, all of them come with a little, yes, they're not plied, So the strands are separate. Let me see if I can see how they're, well, there you go. They're all separate. So with them being separate, when I first started using it, I wasn't used to it. Get the beads, and I had to frog, so excuse the outside of my skein. It looks like crap, but you put your bead on when you start, and in order to get your bead on, I don't have one on in this project because I'm getting used to working with this yarn. All of hers come with little things like this that can be used as an embellishment. They either have a button or something like this, and you just cut that off and thread your bead on. A lot of people use the little things that are on as stitch markers. Like this one has a little feather. They all have something, a button, you know, something you can use as a stitch marker. Mary said my working side is curling bad. Is that normal? Mary, you're probably not using a hook that's big enough. You usually have to use a hook at least 2 sizes bigger, or you can block it. I wouldn't block till I was done blocking it. We're going to have a video on that, but basically if you just take warm water and spray it. Chris, what days are you live? We are live Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday unless something comes up, but usually we're here. It's very rare that I cancel. That's that. Yes, I do recommend the beads. They make things so much easier because there is another group that sells yarn too that's called Hobby. It's Hobbii, and they have yarn, and some of theirs is plied, and it's almost like the sheepish yarn, and then some of it is not plied together, and I absolutely like their cakes too. They do have lots of colors. I don't know if I can, let's see if I can, nope, it's not going to let me. Yes, those cakes over there, are Hobby cakes, Hobbii. And those cakes are nice too. Excuse my desk, it has paperwork and a project that I'm working on, so it's a mess over there. I gotta get it cleaned up. I got a bunch of things that I printed out that need to go into my folder. Yeah, I've seen theirs online, never in person, unfortunately. I think their Twister Deluxe are nice. The Cotton Kings are the ones that are not plied. They are nice. I don't like them as much as Ria's, and the cotton feels a little bit cheaper to me. And the other cakes, I can't remember what they're called. I'll have to do that. I'll have to address it next week. But they're plied, and I absolutely love them. I love the colors. I love the thickness. They're thicker than Rhea's yarn, so they were a good place for me to start. Let me see. Sorry about that. They are twisters, and I know my label is bent. They come with a little center pull, but they are plied. They're twisted. And these call for a 3.5 to a 4 millimeter hook. So these are nice. I do like these. I have ordered, like I said, the Cotton Kings. They're okay. I do really like the twisters and I think it's Twister Deluxe. They did come out with Honolulu, and I have not tried that one yet. So that may be something I might have to maybe try in the future. But yeah, these cakes, they're plied and they are nice. I ordered the Cotton Kings first, not knowing, and they're pretty. I did start a project with one, but like I said, I don't know, they're not as soft of a cotton. So, you know, if I was going to invest in anything, I would do the twister. If you're going to do the Cotton Kings, make sure you understand that it is cotton, and it's just not as soft as I thought it was going to be. Hey, Robin. So, does anybody have any questions about the tea-cow that's going on? All of you guys' practice pieces are great. Your yarn that's coming in, you know, just do whatever. When it comes in, this tea-cow will still be here. I love seeing what everybody's doing. The shawl that I'm testing is something that is by Rhea, so she will be getting the pattern out. I'm not exactly sure when, but that's what this is. So it's still kind of in testing, so it will be out shortly. Let's see, what else is there. This fall there is going to be a triangle shawl that's going to be released that is done in Scarfy yarn, and it's going to look like this. What else do we have going on? I think that's pretty much it. We've got a lot going on in here. Yeah, so I'm super excited. Like I said, at the end of the shawl cow, there will be a hook giveaway. There's going to be a yarn giveaway. So, I will be in discussion. So if you guys put in names and you get picked, you can choose to either A, get a cake from Rhea, or you can choose we're going to have a bunch of things that you can choose, and you can choose your own color. It's not like you guys have to order from me and be like, oh, I got to get what's left over that she has sitting on her yarn shelf, because that's not what we're doing. We're probably going to do a Rhea cake. And if you guys don't want it and you're just like, hey, I have too much yarn, or I don't like that yarn, I want to pass, or there's something else you want, you know, we'll contact you through Messenger and go back and forth. Norma said, is my tea-cow practice piece finished, or is there more to add to it because I did the bind off? No, there's not more to add. That is just the practice piece. what we wanted to do was familiarize everybody with the stitches first. Then once you're familiarized with the stitches, then you can go, and at the top of the page there's a tab that says events, and if you go under events, it says rectangle shawl. Now it does have the different hook sizes and the different yarn sizes. So if you're doing the finger weight yarn, which is Rhea's, that's not plied, that's super thin, there is the information for that. There's the information for the DK weight yarn, which is what we're using, which you're chaining 126 and you're using a J hook for that. And then there is the math for a worsted weight yarn. I think you're chaining 98 and 77 inside is the knit stitch. And you're using an L hook for that. So, with a worsted weight yarn. So it's going to depend on the hook size and the yarn that you're using, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the group or ask me. You can tag me, or you can even message me. I've been busy this week filming videos and helping people behind the scenes, and get their practice piece done, and some people were having problems with the stitches, so I even made a little video and sent it to them, and whatever it takes to get you guys so that you understand what we're doing and can make it easier, I'm here. And so is Erica and Angela and all of our mods. So I would join the event. You're doing fantastic, Norma. You're breezing along through this a lot faster than a lot of other people have. And you're doing fantastic. I think you're a natural. So does anybody else have any questions? I know there's a lag. There always is. This is a teaching group, and I can't say it enough. We are always here to help. I know what it was like when I couldn't find Tunisian things. There weren't Tunisian books. Everything was cross-stitched on. I've been doing this for a long time, and there wasn't a lot of information out there. Now I know there are some Tunisian groups out there now, and there are Tunisian Graphghan things, and but I appreciate every single one of you members that helps make this group great, that has been able to do and give, and the donations of hooks and stuff we've needed, and people have come forward, and I absolutely love that this crochet family has become what it has. I can't say thank you enough. But if there's no more questions, then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap things up for the evening. I look forward to seeing every one of your projects. Please post them. All of the decals are coming out absolutely fantastic. I am loving the colors. I'm loving what I'm seeing. This thing is so soft that it's amazing. I absolutely love it. There's some fantastic colors being introduced. And please, post your projects in the group, post them in the event, post them wherever, crochet sites, whatever. And I look forward to seeing you all, and you all getting your friends involved. Everything here is free, so please don't hesitate to share it with your friends. And if you guys need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you guys all for joining me this evening. I really appreciate you guys coming and being a part of what we have here. You members are what make the group great. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the group. And I hope that you all have a fantastic evening. I will see you again next Wednesday, if not before, if you guys need something. Have a great night. Bye, guys.